This is Omar Nashashibi in Washington, D.C. with news on the steel and aluminum tariffs. On February 7, 2022, the U.S. and Japan announced an agreement to replace the current 25% tariffs on steel imported from Japan with a tariff rate quota system similar to the one that took effect for the European Union on January 1st of 2022. Effective on April 1st of this year, the new agreement with Japan will allow U.S. businesses to import 1.25 million metric tons annually across 54 product categories of steel, after which point the 25% tariffs will resume on the category of products shipped into the United States. The deal does not cover Japanese aluminum, which is still subject to the 10% tariffs. To put that in perspective, in 2017, the last year prior to imposition of the steel tariffs, the U.S. imported roughly 1.7 million metric tons from Japan. This deal allows for 1.25 million metric tons to enter in tariff-free. As with the EU deal, the Commerce Department will administer the tariff rate quota regime on a quarterly basis, allowing the quota to reset every 3 months. The TRQs will be allocated on a first-come, first-served basis for each product category. Any unused TRQ volume from the first quarter of the year, up to 4% of the allocated quota for that quarter, will roll over into the third quarter. Then any unused TRQ volume from the second quarter of the year, subject to the same limit, will roll over into the fourth quarter. Then the third of that year will go into the first of the second of the next year, and so on and so forth. The United States will conduct annual reviews of the TRQ to calculate the level of U.S. steel demand in the previous year to see whether adjustments need to be made to the current rate system that's provided. The agreement is also similar to the European Union one in that in order to enter the United States, the steel must be melted and poured in Japan to come in duty-free. This is an effort to reduce the risk of Chinese steel passing through Japan and into the United States in a form of transshipment. Japanese steel that receives an exclusion from paying the tariffs will count against the quotas, which is another way this differs from the EU agreement. Japan said it will not initially participate in the global efforts that the US and the EU are undertaking to try to put together to reduce carbon-intensive imports, including products such as steel. Starting no later than July 1st of 2022, the United States will evaluate utilization and administration of the TRQ every 3 months and at the request of Japan, enter into consultations to address any substantial underuse of the TRQ. We are now more than a month into the tariff rate quotas for the 27-nation European Union bloc and have already seen some products reach their filled status for certain of those steel categories. For example, hot rolled plate from France reached its limit on February 3rd. The quota for strip from Belgium filled up on January 10th, just 10 days into the quota period, meaning the 25% tariffs resumed for the final weeks of the quarter until it restarts all over again. This means we will likely continue to see uncertainty for manufacturers and distributors surrounding the steel and aluminum supplies. Aluminum just hit its highest price since 2008, and while we have seen some softening of the domestic steel prices, they are still well above what foreign counterparts pay for the same product. Now that the U.S. has completed agreements with the European Union and Japan, that leaves the United Kingdom up next, with which Washington has just begun negotiations a few weeks ago at the end of January. We could see London secure a similar agreement to that of the rest of the EU. However, South Korea still remains on the outside and looks to continue to be facing the absolute tariff system under which they've been now for several years. We will continue to keep everyone posted on the Section 232 steel and aluminum tariffs, but this does provide us some level of additional certainty for manufacturers and distributors in the United States, at least in the context of Japanese steel and aluminum steel, but you need to keep watch. As I said, these tariff rate quotas, the quota system fills up quickly. You've seen some examples already with the European Union, after which those tariffs take into effect. So if you are importing Japanese steel post April 1st, that's another item that you really want to make sure you're in touch with your CLA contacts on to set up a system to be able to track, to understand the pricing and how the import quota systems for now the EU and Japan, potentially UK, might impact your business.